Get back! Stay away!
The morning sun cast a white blanket across the arid land on the edge of the Tsavo East Reserve, where Samuel Whitmore lived and farmed for many years. Samuel was a white man in his 60s who owned a small farm situated right next to the old steel fence of the nature reserve. Every morning, he walks along the fence to check the barbed wire, animal footprints, and any damage left by wildlife. The familiar scene of short green grass interspersed with dry earth, low bushes, and intense sunlight made him feel at ease, just like any other day. Samuel had no idea that this peaceful morning was about to become the moment that would change the way he viewed the wild world forever. As Samuel bent down to inspect a loose section of fence, he suddenly sensed a strange presence in front of him. From behind the low bushes, an old male lion slowly emerged into the harsh, white midday African sun. Its body was thin and emaciated, its fur almost completely gone, its mane entirely absent, each step heavy as if dragging along its entire lifespan. Samuel froze for a moment, his heart pounding as his survival instinct made him recoil. In a panic, he hastily picked up a dry branch from the ground, waved it in front of him, and shouted loudly to ward off the danger. The sound echoed harshly in the open space, mingling with the hot wind blowing through the short grass. The lion stopped, neither lunging nor growling, but simply standing a few meters away from him. The sunlight revealed its emaciated body and weary eyes, a stark contrast to the familiar image of the king of predators. At that moment, Samuel's fear began to mix with a strange and perplexing feeling of doubt. Samuel realized the lion had no intention of attacking, despite the dangerously close distance between them. Its eyes stared straight at him, dull, tired, and devoid of the fierce fire of a predator. Its broken and missing teeth were visible as it breathed heavily under the scorching sun. Samuel still held the branch aloft, but his voice lowered, no longer the initial panicked shout. He stood still, feeling the tension spreading through the eerily silent space. The lion didn't take another step, just stood there as if considering something final. Its eyes seemed to carry a long story of hunger and loneliness. Samuel began to understand that what lay before him was not a threat, but a living being on the verge of exhaustion. The prolonged silence made time seem to stand still between humans and the wild nature. Unexpectedly, the lion slowly lowered its head before Samuel, its massive body trembling slightly from exhaustion. Its two front legs bent down, touching the ground amidst dry grass and dirt. His heavy head slumped close to the ground, as if the last vestiges of strength had just left his aging body. Samuel was stunned. He had never witnessed a lion exhibiting such behavior in front of humans. Under the scorching sun, the sight of the king of the grasslands kneeling choked him up. There was no more roar, no more hunting posture, only silent resignation. Samuel felt his throat dry and his arm, gripping the branch, began to tremble. He realized this wasn't a surrender born of fear, but a desperate plea. At that moment, his fear gradually gave way to profound compassion. Samuel slowly lowered the branch, maintaining a safe distance but no longer in a defensive posture. He looked at the lion in a different light, no longer seeing it as a threat. The lion slowly lay down, no longer having the strength to maintain its kneeling position. Between two strangers, a quiet understanding gradually develops. Samuel took his phone out of his pocket, his hand trembling slightly as he called the Tsavo East Ranger Station. He quickly described the situation of the old lion lying motionless in front of him. On the other end of the line, Park Ranger Daniel Foster asked him to stand still and maintain a safe distance. Samuel was instructed to continue speaking softly so as not to alarm the lion. He stood in the scorching sun, his shirt soaked with sweat, but he didn't dare leave. The lion lay still, only emitting soft, weary groans. Time dragged on slowly during the 30 minutes of tense waiting. Samuel was both afraid and hopeful that help would arrive in time. The surrounding space seemed to grow heavier with each passing minute. The two park rangers, Daniel Foster and Michael Reed, arrived at the location in a specialized pickup truck. They quickly assessed the lion's condition, finding it lying exhausted on the ground. They were both speechless when they saw its emaciated body. The patches of shed fur and the motionless posture made the atmosphere heavy. Samuel recounted the entire sequence of events, from the initial encounter to the moment the lion knelt down. Daniel nodded, concluding that the lion might have left the pride on its own due to old age and weakness. Michael prepared the tranquilizer gun with utmost caution. No one said much, they only exchanged sympathetic glances. A rescue plan was quickly agreed upon at the scene. The lion was safely sedated and lay still under the intense white sunlight. The rangers approached and began checking its health. They discovered that many teeth had fallen out, while the remaining ones were broken and severely worn down. Hair and mane have almost completely fallen out, and the skin is dry and wrinkled due to age. Its body was emaciated, almost devoid of the necessary fat or muscle mass. Daniel sighed, confirming that the lion was no longer capable of hunting. Michael gently stroked its back, as if bidding it farewell to the wild. No one said it out loud, but everyone understood the harsh truth before their eyes. The king who once ruled the grasslands is now just the figure of old age. The rangers carefully lifted the tranquilized lion into the back of the pickup truck. Samuel stood silently watching, an indescribable feeling rising in his heart. The vehicle drove away on the red dirt road leading to the Tsavo East Ranger Station. At the veterinary clinic, the doctors quickly conducted a thorough examination. The conclusion reached was that the lion was too old to return to the wild. It cannot eat solid food and is no longer capable of independent survival. The humane decision was agreed upon between the rangers and the veterinarian. The lion will be kept at the shelter for care until the end of its life. It was placed in a quiet, semi-wild enclosure. The rangers used water to wash away the dirt from its aged body. 2 hours later, the lion woke up and slowly walked around its new surroundings. For the first time in many days, it began to eat soft food peacefully. Under the bright sunlight, the old lion explored its semi-wild enclosure with slow steps. There were no more roars or fierce stares, only quiet weariness. The rangers stood outside the fence, observing in silence. They knew this was the final resting place of a once mighty king. The lion lay resting in the shade of a low tree, its breathing becoming more regular. Samuel occasionally visited, standing at a distance and gazing at the animal he had once faced. No one said it out loud, but everyone sensed a rare sense of peace. Old age is no longer a lonely sentence in the harsh wilderness. The old king was finally able to live out his final days with dignity.